For thousands of years, humanity lived surrounded by death. Not by war alone, not by famine alone, but by something invisible. A silent enemy hiding in breath, blood, and touch. No kingdom could escape it. No army could defeat it. No king could command it to stop. A healthy child could suddenly collapse with fever. A crowded city could become a graveyard within weeks. Entire families vanished before anyone understood why. People blamed curses, gods, poisoned air, demons in the night. But the real enemy was far smaller than anyone could imagine. Microscopic killers moving silently through civilization. Smallpox, plague, measles, polio, diseases that shaped the rise and fall of nations. Before modern medicine, surviving childhood itself was uncertain. Parents lived with constant fear. Doctors were powerless. Humanity was defenseless. And yet hidden deep inside the human body was a secret weapon waiting to be discovered. The immune system. A biological defense so powerful it would eventually change human history forever. This is the story of the discovery that saved millions of lives. The story of vaccines. For most of human history, death arrived silently, not through war, not through famine, not through earthquakes or fire, but through something people could not see. A cough, a fever, a rash. Then entire families disappeared. Children died before reaching adulthood. Kings feared infection more than assassins. Cities emptied in weeks. Empires lost millions without understanding why. Humanity lived trapped in a world ruled by invisible killers. Smallpox, plague, measles, polio, diphtheria, rabies. Diseases moved like ghosts through villages and kingdoms, killing rich and poor alike. People blamed curses, demons, bad air, divine punishment. Nobody understood bacteria. Nobody understood viruses. Nobody understood immunity. And because nobody understood the enemy, humanity could not fight back. Among all diseases, one terror stood above the rest. Smallpox. For thousands of years, smallpox carved scars into human civilization. The disease began with fever and pain. Then came the blisters. The body transformed into a battlefield of burning lesions. Victims screamed from agony. Many went blind. Many suffocated. Many died alone. Those who survived often carried permanent scars across their faces forever. Smallpox killed children in horrifying numbers. Entire royal bloodlines were destroyed. Historians estimate smallpox killed more humans than almost any war in history. Hundreds of millions. It was so deadly that civilizations feared it like a supernatural force. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, diseases including smallpox devastated indigenous populations with catastrophic speed. Whole societies collapsed, and humanity had absolutely no defense. In the ancient world, surviving childhood itself was an achievement. Many parents expected to lose children. It was normal. That is difficult for the modern world to imagine. Today, a fever usually means rest, medicine, recovery. But for most of history, a fever could mean death. A single infected traveler entering a city could unleash catastrophe. There were no antibiotics, no intensive care units, no modern hospitals, no vaccines. Doctors often became infected themselves. Some treatments were worse than the diseases. Bloodletting, mercury, strange herbal mixtures. Humanity was desperate, and yet, Hidden inside the human body was a mysterious defense system nobody fully understood. The immune system, the key to one of the greatest discoveries in human history. In the countryside of 18th century England, farmers noticed something strange. Milkmaids who caught a mild disease called cowpox almost never developed smallpox. Cowpox caused sores on the hands, but compared to smallpox, it was minor. And somehow, those infected seemed protected. Most people ignored the idea, but one man did not. A country doctor named Edward Jenner became fascinated by the mystery. Jenner listened carefully to local stories. Milkmaids often claimed, "I will never get smallpox. I have already had cowpox." At the time, this sounded almost magical, but Jenner believed there was science behind it. He began asking a dangerous question. What if exposure to a weaker disease could protect people from a deadlier one? It was a revolutionary idea, and one that would change civilization forever. In 1796, Jenner performed one of history's most famous medical experiments. He took material from cowpox sores on a milkmaid's hand. Then he introduced it into the arm of a young boy named James Phipps. The child became mildly ill, then recovered. Weeks later, Jenner exposed the boy to smallpox. The boy did not become sick. He was protected. Jenner had discovered vaccination. The word came from the Latin word vacca, meaning cow. At first, many people mocked the idea. Some believed injecting cowpox into humans was unnatural. Political cartoons showed people growing cow features after vaccination. Fear spread quickly, but evidence became impossible to ignore. Vaccinated people survived outbreaks at dramatically higher rates. For the first time in human history, humanity had a weapon against one of its deadliest killers. The history of vaccines was never simple. Even early vaccination campaigns faced resistance. People feared side effects. Governments, doctors, the unknown. Some religious groups opposed vaccination. Others believed disease was unavoidable fate. Some simply distrusted science. And yet, outbreaks repeatedly showed the same reality. Vaccinated populations survived more often. Slowly, vaccination spread across Europe, then the world. Napoleon vaccinated his troops. Governments launched early immunization campaigns. The concept of immunity was transforming medicine itself. Humanity had begun learning how to train the immune system before disease attacked. A completely new era had begun. Inside every human body exists a defense system more sophisticated than ancient civilizations could ever imagine. The immune system. An invisible army constantly fighting invaders. Bacteria, viruses, parasites. When a pathogen enters the body, immune cells identify the threat. Then they attack. Some cells destroy infected tissue. Others create antibodies designed specifically to recognize the invader. Most importantly, the immune system remembers. After surviving an infection, the body can respond faster the next time. Vaccines exploit this extraordinary ability. Instead of waiting for deadly infection, vaccines safely train the immune system in advance. They introduce weakened, inactive, or partial versions of pathogens. The immune system practices, learns, remembers. So when the real disease appears, the body is ready. This discovery transformed medicine from reactive treatment into prevention, and prevention would save millions. In the 19th century, scientists like Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch helped prove that microscopic organisms cause disease. This was revolutionary. Before germ theory, many doctors did not wash their hands. Hospitals unknowingly spread infection. Surgery often became a death sentence. Pasteur's research changed science forever. He demonstrated that microbes caused illness, and if microbes caused disease, then perhaps vaccines could stop many diseases. Pasteur expanded Jenner's ideas dramatically. He developed vaccines for anthrax and rabies. Rabies terrified humanity. Victims suffered horrifying neurological symptoms and almost always died. Pasteur's rabies vaccine became one of the greatest medical breakthroughs of the century. The age of modern immunology had begun. Today, many people think of measles as a childhood illness. Historically, it was far more terrifying. Measles spread explosively. One infected child could infect nearly everyone nearby. High fever, pneumonia, brain inflammation. Children frequently died. In some populations encountering measles for the first time, mortality rates were catastrophic. Before vaccines, measles infected millions every year. Hospitals filled with dying children. Parents lived in fear during outbreaks. The measles vaccine changed everything. Countries with widespread vaccination saw deaths collapse dramatically. One disease after another was being pushed back by science. Few diseases terrified 20th century parents more than polio. Polio mainly attacked children. Most infected people had mild symptoms, but in some cases, the virus attacked the nervous system. Children suddenly lost the ability to walk. Some could no longer breathe. Hospitals filled with rows of giant metal breathing machines called iron lungs. Entire communities panicked during summer outbreaks. Swimming pools closed. Schools shut down. Parents kept children indoors in fear. Then came a medical race against time. American scientist Jonas Salk believed polio could be defeated. Working tirelessly, Salk developed an inactivated polio vaccine. The trials became one of the largest medical experiments in history. Millions of children participated. In 1955, the results were announced. The vaccine worked. Church bells rang across America. Parents cried with relief. Polio rates collapsed. Soon after, Albert Sabin developed an oral vaccine that made global immunization easier. One of humanity's greatest fears was disappearing because of vaccines. Even after Jenner's discovery, smallpox continued killing millions. Vaccination existed, but global access did not. Many countries lacked healthcare systems. Wars disrupted immunization. Remote populations remained vulnerable. Then the world attempted something unprecedented: a global eradication campaign. Led by the World Health Organization, nations coordinated vaccination efforts across continents. Doctors traveled into jungles, deserts, mountains, conflict zones. They tracked outbreaks relentlessly. Vaccinate, contain, repeat. Humanity was fighting a species-wide war against a virus. In 1977, the last known naturally occurring case of smallpox was recorded in Somalia. A disease that had terrorized humanity for thousands of years was gone, eradicated. It remains one of the greatest achievements in medical history. Millions of lives saved, entire generations protected, a virus defeated not by weapons or armies, but by science, cooperation, and vaccines. Vaccines are not magic. They are biological training systems. Some use weakened viruses. Some use inactive viruses. Others use protein fragments or genetic instructions. But the goal remains the same. Teach the immune system to recognize danger safely. The body then creates memory cells. If the real pathogen appears later, the immune response activates rapidly. This speed can mean the difference between mild illness and death. Vaccination protects individuals, but it can also protect entire communities. Some people cannot receive vaccines safely. Newborns, cancer patients, people with weakened immune systems. These individuals depend on community protection. When enough people are immune, diseases struggle to spread. This is called herd immunity. It creates invisible protective barriers around vulnerable populations. Vaccination is not only personal protection, it is collective defense. One person's immunity can help shield others. Entire outbreaks can collapse when transmission chains break. Vaccines continued evolving throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. Scientists developed vaccines against tetanus, hepatitis, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, HPV. Each breakthrough prevented suffering on a massive scale. Life expectancy increased dramatically across the world. Child mortality declined. Diseases once considered unavoidable became rare. Vaccination helped reshape civilization itself. Population growth accelerated. Healthcare systems improved. Humanity became safer from ancient biological threats. One of the newest vaccine technologies uses messenger RNA, or mRNA. Instead of injecting weakened viruses, these vaccines provide genetic instructions that teach cells to produce harmless pieces of a pathogen. The immune system studies these pieces and prepares defenses. This technology had been researched for decades. Then a global crisis accelerated its use. COVID-19. In late 2019, reports emerged of a mysterious viral outbreak. Within months, the world changed completely. Hospitals overflowed, cities locked down, airports emptied, millions became infected, families lost loved ones. The pandemic revealed how vulnerable modern civilization still was to infectious disease. Despite advanced technology, humanity remained deeply connected biologically. A virus could still stop the planet. Scientists across the world launched an unprecedented effort. Develop vaccines, fast. Normally, vaccine development takes years, but global collaboration accelerated research dramatically. Genetic sequencing, clinical trials, manufacturing. In record time, multiple vaccines were developed. The effort demonstrated the extraordinary speed of modern science. Vaccination campaigns began worldwide, and once again, vaccines became central to humanity's survival. Vaccines have always existed alongside fear. People worry about safety, side effects, governments, corporations. In the modern internet age, misinformation spreads rapidly. Rumors travel faster than scientific explanations. This creates confusion and distrust. Yet vaccine safety systems today are among the most heavily monitored processes in medicine. Clinical trials involve thousands of participants. Data is continuously reviewed. No medical intervention is completely risk-free. But history shows infectious diseases themselves are often far more dangerous. The balance between individual fear and public health remains one of the defining debates of modern society. Human beings struggle with invisible threats. When vaccines work well, diseases become rare. Ironically, success can make the danger feel distant. People forget what outbreaks once looked like. Iron lungs, mass graves, children dying from measles. Modern generations often never witness those horrors directly. History fades, but viruses do not disappear simply because humans forget them. Scientists are now exploring vaccines not only against infectious disease, but against cancer itself. Some experimental vaccines train the immune system to recognize tumor cells. Others may become personalized to individual patients. The immune system could become one of humanity's most powerful anti-cancer weapons. A revolutionary possibility. Researchers are also pursuing universal vaccines, a universal flu vaccine, broad coronavirus protection, even vaccines against future pandemics before they emerge. Artificial intelligence and genetic technology are accelerating vaccine research faster than ever before. The future may allow humanity to respond to outbreaks within weeks instead of years. For thousands of years, humanity feared invisible killers. Parents buried children. Cities collapsed from epidemics. Entire civilizations suffered under diseases they could not understand. Then came one extraordinary realization. The body could be trained to defend itself, from Jenner's cowpox experiment, to Pasteur's laboratories, to the eradication of smallpox, to modern vaccine science. Humanity changed its relationship with disease forever. Vaccines became one of the greatest life-saving discoveries in history. Vaccines are more than medicine. They are a symbol of accumulated human knowledge. Generations of scientists, doctors, volunteers, and patients contributed to this achievement. Millions of lives were saved because humanity learned to cooperate against a common enemy. Invisible pathogens still exist. New outbreaks will come. Future pandemics are inevitable. But humanity is no longer defenseless. Because science gave civilizations something ancient generations could barely imagine: protection before illness begins. The story of vaccines is ultimately the story of survival. A species once helpless before microscopic enemies learned to fight back using knowledge instead of fear. And in doing so, humanity saved millions of lives. The war against invisible killers continues, but for the first time in history, humanity fights with memory. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.